I think let's just get started. I will wait for some time. If there is any doubt, you can ask. Am I audible and visible correctly?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Yeah. So we will solve this week the problems related to mostly about the uh, metal semiconductor junction. So this week content was metal semiconductor junction, and uh, others was metal oxide semiconductor junction, MOS junction. So I will describe. You must have gone through the lecture in the class. Wherever needed, I will describe the concept in details. So let's just go forward. Yeah. So the first problem ask about the choose the correct statement from the following. So basically, it's defined it's related to definition. Uh, Basically, the so yeah so the definition we described. For let's say we have two things. One side is metal and other side is semiconductor. Semi Yeah. So one side is metal, other side is semiconductor. So to draw the Venn diagram in metal, so in metal there is a concept of a Fermi surface. So basically, what happens in the metal, if you draw like if you uh, start putting atoms in the metal, so if you consider those metals, so the band overlap is such that so if you put all the chronic penny models and other for solve for metal, then the band overlap is such that your there are large number of states around the Fermi level. So if you start filling the metal, so basically in metal you can describe by this just like this. So if you consider this three piece of semiconductors and you consider sufficient free number of electrons, then you can make a Fermi surface within this. If you are start filling, so this if you have uh, this piece of semi metal, then if you apply this those uh, periodic boundary condition in the Schrodinger equation, then you can reach that this this in the k space there are like k is basically square root of kx square plus ky square plus kz square, and kx is your 2 pi by Lx times Nx. So where N is the number of states, L is the length of in this direction. Okay. Similarly, K by is 2 pi by L by N by, and similarly Kz is 2 pi by Lz Nz. So if you describe this, if you put this the number of k space possible, then you will if you take Lx Ly Lz as constant, then you will reach out that 2 this is equals to 2 pi by L square root of nx square plus n by square plus nz square. So by this nx is basically the number of half waves or number of modes possible. So this nx is basically number of electrons how much you can fill. So at each level you can fill the electrons, and this is like this equation is similar to the equation of the sphere. So if you apply the Fermi direct statistics to that, then your in k space the your metal will look like the sphere of with the Fermi level as a, this uh, uh, is the in the K space metal will look like a sphere or ellipsoid. In the best case we can consider Kf. Then this Kf will if you apply the Fermi directricity, then this Kf is known as the Fermi surface. And what is the speciality? The all the states below the Fermi surface are completely occupied, and all the states above are completely unoccupied at the 0 Kelvin temperature. So basically you can make this kind of Fermi surface, and at the Kf this is, so this K equals to Kf, this this is the distribution, and if you raise the temperature then the distribution will be like this. Yeah. So but here the density of states is basically is going to those square root of kind of things. That density of states basically here at the near the Kf there are lot of number of states are possible. So this is the probability distribution. But in case of semiconductors, at EF level, if you consider this at EF level, then here these are the EF lies in the forbidden band. So there are no state possible. There are no density of states is there available to fill. Okay, but in the metal case it's opposite. Okay. So yeah, so this is the some story about the case of metal. So yeah, so in metal there the only the concept of Fermi level EF is there. So this is known as the Fermi level, and there is a vacuum level. So vacuum level is defined. So in this level, so the in this level basically your electron is confined in your piece of metal. So what does the vacuum level defines? It is defined that energy required to uh, energy supplied to the piece of semiconductor to eject out an electron which have a zero energy just after the surface. Okay. So from Fermi, so electron top of the Fermi surface electron will have around kf energy, and that is known as the key EF. And the energy required to eject out electron to the vacuum level is known as the work function of the metal. Okay. So this is the work function of metal. In case of semiconductor, there are like two things possible. So semiconductor, there is a conduction band, there is a Fermi level, and there is a valence band. So in that case vacuum level, so there are two criteria are there. Then one is this gap, this is known as the electron affinity chi, and this is the work function of semiconductor phi s. So what is the electron affinity? So basically the electron at the this EC level, basically electron in the EC level is free to move, but what happens is it is free to move within the piece of semiconductor, it can't go out of the semiconductor. So uh, so the so the uh, electron affinity is defined as uh, electron affinity is defined as the energy required to eject out the electron from the conduction band of the semiconductor to the vacuum level. Vacuum level is where the energy is zero just outside the conductor. So the we will say like the all the ejected electron, it has zero energy after it is ejected out of the electron. Okay. So that is known as the uh, electron affinity. Similarly, there is also one concept of semiconductor work function. So basically it is defined as the energy needed to to eject out the electron from the Fermi levels to the vacuum level. So this chi is basically chi is uh, from uh, from conduction band to so chi is EC to vacuum and phi s is EF to vacuum. Okay, so yeah, so that is the one basic concept, and this chi is material property. So different materials have different value of electron affinity, and this phi s, so this metal work function, a semiconductor work function, that is depend on, that is also material property, plus that is also dependent on doping. So so with respect to EC, the Fermi level moves ups and down based on like how much doping you have done to the semiconductor. So yeah, so these are the some fundamental definitions, and the for metals, different metals have different work functions. So you can take some like titanium, nickel, gold, aluminum, these kind of common materials used for contact. Okay, so these kind of uh, materials are used. So to answer these questions, the energy required to move electron from EF to the vacuum level is defined as uh, electron affinity. No, this is wrong. The energy required to move an electron from EC to vacuum level is known as the electron affinity. This is the correct answer. Uh, the energy required to move electron from EV to vacuum level is defined as the work function. No, this is not correct. Yeah. So basically these electron affinities are defined like the highest possible, because this electron is easiest to knock out actually. So these are defined based on like which electron is easier to knock out. Yeah. The energy required to move an electron from EF to vacuum level is defined as the work function. Yeah, this is correct. Yeah. Okay, so the correct answer is second and fourth. Okay, so is there any doubt in this? Because lot of people has lot of confusion in just the basic definition. Sometime in like even in competitive exam for 1 marks they can ask this like definition kind of straightforward questions. So is there any confusion? Then you can ask, or otherwise we will move on. Okay, so let's just move to the next question. Where does the peak electric field occur in the metal semiconductor junction? Okay, so now how what happens, suppose you have metal, you have semiconductor. When you join these two, the there is always in the equilibrium, we can say the Fermi levels will align. So the metal and semiconductor Fermi level will be constant. This is EF, and this is the if this is the junction, then what will happen? So if this is an n-type material, okay. So let me draw first the without making contact pan diagram. So that we draw based on the vacuum level. So uh, so the vacuum level is constant throughout. Well, when you don't make any contact, then there is metal Fermi level. So that is phi f, uh, that you can draw here. So this is the junction, and if you draw yeah, if you draw yeah, if you draw the uh, semiconductor Fermi level, let's say he is here EF, and the semiconductor conduction band is EC is here, and this is chi, and this is EV. Yeah. So to draw the band diagram, so this is the just the non-equilibrium band diagram. We haven't made the contact. So to draw the band diagram, basically So so to draw the band diagram, so these chi and phi f are the material parameters. So this this spacing, so this vacuum level minus, so this Fermi level in the metal side minus this vacuum level. So this spacing this spacing and this spacing, the difference of these two, uh, phi f minus chi will always be constant no matter how much your doping is there, what is there, even if it is under equilibrium or anything, this will remain constant even without contact and after contact. So whatever the change you need to do, you will do in the later other parameters. Okay. So now if we draw the band diagram under equilibrium, so what will happen? Uh, this since this has the this since this electron Fermi level in this semiconductor is higher, so there will be movement of electron from right side uh, to the metal junction, and there will be depletion region formed because of that. So now as the electrons is moved away from this, the vacuum level will this Fermi level like will get down, and it will be equals to the metal Fermi level. So after this, if you draw the band diagram, so it will look something like this. So so it will look something like this. So this is our EF, and if this is the junction. So initially, so this this gap will remain constant. Okay. So so no, not this gap. Yeah. So difference of this phi f minus chi s is this gap. So this will remain constant. So this will be the electron Fermi level, and as the depletion is there, then this carrier will get depleted to this side. There will be space charge region formed here. So because of that space charge region, this band will look like this. So this is EC, and deep within the semiconductor, the condition will be similar to the previous one. So if you want to write the vacuum level also, if you want to write, then you can write vacuum level as this one. So then you need to do the vacuum level bending as this one. Okay. So this is basically known as the built-in potential, VBI. Okay. So now because of this, the if we draw the charge picture, so there will be so this, if you consider this as a p type junction and this is a metal, so no, this n type junction. So if you consider this as a n type junction and this is a metal, then here this positive charge will be there. Okay. So if you move this, then it will be like this. So here the positive charge will be there, here very spike kind of because inside the metal field is zero. So inside metal cannot, there can't be any charge under electrostatic condition. If you apply the voltage, then it may be there, or current is flowing or charge is flowing, then there can be field or a charge in the, but under electrostatic condition, the inside the metal there will be charge. So there will be a huge sheet of charge will be there at the interface. Okay. So now this kind of phase charge region will form, and if you drive the electric field from this, then you need to follow that the electric field will follow like this. It will follow like this. Here it will be zero, here it will be sudden jump, and then it will with deep within it will be zero, and here it will be like this, because this charge density rho is q n a by epsilon. So that we can write field as a q n a by epsilon x minus uh, xn something. Yeah, this is, if this is xn, then we can write this. So this is electric field. Okay, so this is the linear function, and it is maximum when x equals to 0, or the magnitude is maximum when x equals to 0. So we can write, the correct answer will be, where does the peak electric field occur in the metal semiconductor junction? So deep inside the metal, this is correct, incorrect. Deep inside the metal, field is 0. Deep inside the semiconductor, again, deep inside the semiconductor, this the slope of Venn diagram is 0. The field is 0. So this option is also correct. At the, so now you can see this slope is maximum at the interface, or you can see from here that the field is maximum here. Okay, so we can write this field is at the metal semiconductor interface. Until unless we are taking account of this image charge and those, there it may shift a bit, but for ideal case we can assume this. At the edge of semiconductor transition region, no, that is not correct. Dependence on semiconductor type, no, this is not correct. Depends on the semiconductor doping concentration, this is also not correct. So the field will be maximum only at the interface. Okay, so is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Yeah, yeah. So let's move to next problem. Yeah. So given below are the two statements regarding the Schottky diode. So Schottky diode is how it is formed, the Schottky diode. So uh, so Schottky diode, basically Schottky junction is basically metal semiconductor junction. So how you form the Schottky junction? You take metal semiconductor like similar here. So now let's just take the metal semiconductor junction in the previous case. So the band diagram was like that. So if we draw the band diagram, or I can copy. Okay, let's just draw the band diagram. So so now this, so let this is the interface, and this has the vacuum level, and this is the Fermi level. It will be constant throughout. So this is EF, and we have this EC. It will be like this, and it will be like this. Similarly, you can draw EI. Similarly, you can draw EV. So this is EV, this is EI, and since, so yeah, so at the so now now if you start applying, so suppose let's say this is the let's say the structure is like this. So this is your semiconductor S, and this is your metal. So if the metal has this thickness, then your structure is like this. Yeah, so if you apply, so now, so this is the specific example when metal work function phi m is greater than semiconductor work function. So what does that mean? That so this phi f, so this phi f is greater than, phi f is greater than chi plus ec minus ef. So yeah, so the semiconductor work function is this electron affinity plus this gap. So if chi f is greater than that, then it will be a Schottky junction. So in this case, because this two in the equilibrium, because this Fermi level should be bring down. As we bring down this Fermi level, this barrier will form, because this this EC minus EF, like this uh, Fermi level in the metal, this gap will remain constant. So to align the EC, we need to build make a barrier like this. Okay, so in case of now if you apply the negative bias, so uh, the negative bias if you apply, so under zero bias, so let's say what happens. So here there are some carriers, here there are some electrons. So if you consider these electrons, so there are very few number of electrons which has energy higher than like this barrier. Okay, so the electrons has barrier to go this side, so there are very few number of electrons can jump to other side in the metal to follow the conduction. So these are quite less number of electrons are available, and there is barrier form. So at zero wise very small current flows. Now let's just see what will happen if we apply the negative bias. So negative bias apply, assume me this, if we apply the negative bias, suppose this is the bias, and if this is negative, so metal side is negative compared to the semiconductor side, then this Fermi level will move up depending on the applied bias. So minus Q times VA, it will move up. Then this barrier, since this is material dependent parameter, so the uh, conduction band of uh, conduction band of silicon to Fermi level of metal, so this gap is always constant. So when you apply the bias, if you want to draw the band diagram, so if your Fermi level is moved up, then you need to move proportionality this gap is same as this gap. Okay, so this upper gap is same as lower gap. Then you if you apply negative bias, then it will become the this barrier height will become more and more. So these electron will feel more barrier if you apply the negative bias. So in the if we draw the current versus barrier, uh, current versus voltage statistics, so negative voltage, this very small current will flow. Now what will happen if we apply the positive bias? So positive bias will bring down this barrier, and it will be reduced. And if you apply sufficiently positive bias, then this whole barrier will become overcome, and this can have like similar to diode case, it can have follow the exponential relationship with applied bias. Okay, so that follows similarly to diode character. So yeah, so here the thing is, this Schottky diode, only the carriers are only electrons, whatever the majority carriers. If you have used you have made Schottky junction with the p-type material, that is difficult indeed. Then you can have the this Schottky like this hole as the majority carrier, but mostly cases we use n-type material for to make the Schottky contact. So these are the first statement talks about that Schottky diodes are majority carrier devices, because there is only electrons are involved in the conduction, or not holes or other charge of carrier. So in case of n type, if you use semiconductor n type, then electrons are the uh, main carriers, and if you have p type, then holes are the main carriers. So this uh, first one are looking correct statement. Second is Schottky diode switching speeds are more than pin diode. Yeah. So yeah. So basically, uh, so in case of Schottky diode, switching speeds are more than PN diode. So basically, in that, so what happens is, when you switch a diode from forward bias to reverse bias, so there are this space charge region that, so in the space charge region, the electron will occupy those space charge, or they are removed from those space charge region. So when we apply the forward bias, then this space charge region become narrow and narrow. So the external electron or holes are supplied to the junction, so that this junction becomes narrow. Similarly, in case of reverse bias, those carriers are removed from the junction, so that this so that the depletion region will become wider and wider. So this removing and adding will create a lifetime. So that has a lifetime tau. So that defines like how fast you can switch the a diode. So basically, if you go from forward to reverse bias, how fast you can generate those carriers, that will determine your the switching speed. Since in the Schottky junction there is no space charge region formed, the removal of charge is not there. Removal of minority carrier charge particularly. So that's why these devices are fast compared to normal PN junction diode, because here you need to inject or remove the minority charge carrier based on the your bias level. So the because these devices are majority carrier device, that's why Schottky diode device switching speeds are more compared to PN diode. That is the correct statement, and that is the explanation of the first statement also. So statement 1 and statement 2 are correct, and S2 is the consequence of S1. So this is the main reason, like the S2 is the main reason why Schottky junction has the like high switching speed. Okay, is there any doubt? So if there is no doubt, let's move to next. Yeah. So now, so yeah, a copper is deposited on N-type silicon substrate to form an ideal Schottky diode. 5 metal, so metal for work function is given as 4.65 electron volt. Electron affinity is given as 4.03 electron volt. Nd is given as 10 power 16. Eg is 1.1 electron volt. Ni is uh, 10 power 10, and Kt is 26 milli electron volt. So basically, so like if you so this uh, so let's just calculate from Nd and this Ni. So basically, N is these are donor type concentration. So N is basically uh, uh, so yeah. So N is basically Ni times exponential of uh, minus Ei minus Ef by Kt. Okay. So now uh, yeah. So now we are provided N. We can, if you assume complete ionization, then we can assume N is approximately equals to Nd. Then we can write this 10 power 16 is equals to 10 power 10, then exponential of minus Ei minus Ef by Kt. So if we take the log both sides, uh, then it will become so 6 log Uh, no, no, this we can simplify. So this will become 10 power 6 equals to exponential of minus we can reverse the sign, EF minus EI by KT. So if we take log of both sides, so then it will become EF minus EI by KT equals to 6 log natural log ln 10, and this E EF minus EI will become 6 times KT by Q ln KT ln 10, and this is uh, 60 milli electron volt, 60 milli electron volt. So this will become 0.36, right? 0.06 electron volt, it will become 0.36 electron volt. Yeah, so this will become 0.36 electron volt. This is EI minus, yeah, this is EI minus EF minus EI. So to calculate the EC minus EF, so basically this is EC, this is EF, this is EI, this is EV. So this is approximately equals to EG by 2. So this we have calculated EF minus EI. So if we subtract EG by 2 minus uh, EF minus EI, then we can find out EC minus EF. So EG by 2 is around 0.55 minus 0.36. That is our EC minus EF equals to, that will come out as 9. So it will become, and it will become 1.19, yeah, 0.19 electron volt. Okay, so now to so now let's just see. So this, let's just see, chi plus EC minus EF is equals to so this is equals to 4.03 plus 0.19, it equals to 4.2 22 electron volt. As we can see that phi m is greater than phi s, so phi m is 4.65 electron volt, phi m is greater than phi s, so it will form a Schottky barrier. Okay, the Schottky barrier height we can calculate as so Schottky barrier height we can calculate as uh, phi b is basically uh, phi b is phi m minus chi. So basically in this band diagram, so this height is basically Schottky barrier height. So this, as we have seen, this is basically equal to phi f minus chi. If we calculate if we put the appropriate values, this is 4.65 minus 4.03, this will become 0.62 electron volt. So the correct answer will be 0.62 electron volt. Okay, so yeah, so this is so now uh, so now you can now to find the built-in potential, so the junction will form like this. So this is the metal function, this is this is EC, this is EF, and this is this this is VBI. Okay, so basically so how you can calculate this VBI? So this we know this is the phi b, so that is the built-in potential. So this VBI plus EC minus EF equals to the phi b. So phi b equals to VBI plus EC minus EF. EC minus EF, so VBI we can calculate VBI as equals to phi b minus EC minus EF. So EC minus EF we have calculated, that is 0.19 electron volt. and phi b also we have calculated. So this is zero point 0.62 electron volt minus 0.19 electron volt. This will become around 0.43. Yeah, so something 0.43 will be the correct answer. So in this the nearest answer is around 0.42. If you write down all the value correctly, then you can reach the 0.42 or 43. So is that clear? Okay, so now now if we move now since we know this built-in potential, now we know the built-in potential. There will be depletion corresponding to this built-in potential. So we can calculate the depletion bit by the built-in voltage just by uh, just by this formula. Depletion bit is our old formula is basically 2 epsilon Si by Q and D VBI. So basically at 0 was VBI plus VA, and VA is given as 0, so we can put this as a 0. Then our depletion width will become square root of 2 epsilon Si by Q and D VBI. So if you put all the values, so let's just put all the values. So we are provided epsilon SI as 11.8. So 2 multiplied by 11.8 multiplied by 8.8 into 10 power 14 uh, minus 14. Yeah. So then it's 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 multiplied by ND is our 10 power 16. 10 power 16 multiplied by this VBI is point 0.2. Point 0.2. No, no. VBI is 0.42. So this is 0.42. So if you solve it correctly, so if you solve in calculator, then you will reach around 0.234 micrometers. So basically these units are in centimeter. You need to convert it to micrometer by multiplying 10 to the power 4 or so. Then you can reach this much 0.234 micrometer will be the correct answer. So is there any doubt? Okay. So let's just move to next problem. So yeah. So the figure below shows the measured barrier heights for gallium arsenide and silicon Schottky diode as a function of metal work functions. Assuming electron affinity of gallium arsenide to be 4.07 electron volt, what is the approximate work function of gallium arsenide in case of gallium arsenide AU contact? So so basically it's asked if we form the gallium arsenide uh, gold contact, then what is the so this shows the barrier height as a function of yeah. So yeah. So uh, so the measured barrier height of gallium arsenide and silicon Schottky diode as a metal of function. Mm, Electron affinity of gallium arsenide is 4.07. So chi is 4.07 electron volt. What is the approximate work function of a gallium arsenide in case of uh, gallium arsenide in case of gallium arsenide AU contact? So Yeah, so we are provided at uh, for AU. So this is our this is our barrier height. So gallium arsenide AU contact, we can calculate what is the barrier height here. So it will be around 0.78 something. So the phi b is around 0.78. So the what is the work function? So basically, to calculate the work function, so we need to so yeah. So now if we draw the band diagram, so if you take draw the band diagram, so it will look like this. So and here also it will be, the vacuum level will be bent like this. So this is chi and this is EC minus EF, and this is our uh, phi m, and this is phi b. Okay, so now 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 we are provided v phi b. So barrier height we are given. So we can just wait. Yeah, so this also will be chi. So we can write phi b phi m as phi b plus chi. Okay, so this will be equals to chi is given at 4.07 plus 0.78. So it will be around 8757 and 8, 4.85 around. So the correct answer will be your this option, 1 2 3 4 fifth option, 4.87 around. So the other option does not match closely. The closest option is this, and you can calculate accurately how much is this band gap. Then you can calculate the metal work function. So yeah, okay. So is there any doubt up to now? Okay. So let's just move to next problem. So consider the equilibrium energy band diagram for an ideal metal semiconductor contact as shown in figure 2 below. Answer the following questions. The figure 2 we are talking about. uh, so, so we are talking about figure A. The contact between metal and semiconductor is contact is so figure A is, as you can see, the electron Fermi level is closer to the conduction band, so it is n-type semiconductor. So this is straightforward questions. So even in both the case, the electrons is the semiconductor is n-type only. Only the difference in here the work function is different, here the work function is different. Okay, so we are considering the case A. So choose the correct option for relation between metal and semiconductor work function for band diagram in figure 2A. So as we have discussed, so this kind of barrier will form only when this phi metal work function is greater than phi semiconductor work function. So the correct answer will be phi metal is greater than phi semiconductor. Then only your at the when you don't make any contact, then your Fermi level in the semiconductor will move up, as this electron has higher energy in the semiconductor, they will move this to this side, and this side Fermi level will get down. Okay, so this kind of things are possible with the phi m is greater than phi. So yeah, so the contact form in this is of type depletion, no. Accumulation, no. Ohmic. So ohmic contact is basically if you fall if there is current flow, if you apply positive and negative bias, approximately same slope is there from both sides. But as we have seen here, so where we have drawn the so so here if this metal semi work function is greater than semiconductor wave function, then the characteristics are of this kind. So this, as you can see, this in the negative direction very small current flows, in the positive direction an exponential current flows. So basically this is a kind of rectifying contact. On one direction there is no current or very less current, on other direction it is huge current. Okay. So we can say this is rectifying contact. So now let's just move to next problem. So choose the correct option. Uh, so choose the correct option for the relation between metal and semiconductor work function for band diagram in figure 2b. Okay. So the this band diagram is given. So in this, as you can see, the this band bending is negative. So instead of this, it is going down. So when it is possible, then it is possible only when your semiconductor, suppose this is n type semiconductor, this is ec, this is ef, this is ei, this is ev, and in the metal side, if your Fermi level is here and if your vacuum level is this, so now you can see this is our phi metal work function, and this is our chi electron affinity, and this is ec minus ef. So and this is our semiconductor work function fs psi s. So as we can see now, if we uh, if we uh, if we put this semiconductor into the equilibrium, then this side Fermi level will go down. So the electron will flow from here to this side. So there will be more number of electrons. So the interface here will become more n type. So the conduction band will move closer to the Fermi level. So here the difference between EC minus EF will become less and less, because as you populate the electron here, there will be the EC minus EF will bring down, and when we draw the equilibrium band diagram, so it will look like this. So this is EF. So at the equilibrium Fermi level will align, and then this uh, there is this gap is there. So that gap will remain. So basically now at the bulk, the if the in the bulk region this is our EC, then at the interface this EC will become less. Okay. So this is our the band gap possible. Okay. So now if this is, so this electron will accumulate here, and if this is, so this is between phi ms and chi, so this difference will remain same, and the band will look like this. So band will bend like this. This is ec, and similarly ei we can write, and similarly ev we can write. So this is possible only when this phi m is less than phi s, or phi m is if we assume EC minus EF is quite less, then we can assume phi m is less than chi s. Yeah. So this is possible if this phi metal work function is less than the electron affinity of the. So what will happen? Now what will happen? The contact formed in the figure 2 is of type this. So basically, what will happen? We if we apply the positive bias, the so if we apply the positive bias here, so if we apply if we apply the positive bias here, so if we apply the positive bias here, then this positive bias, this side Fermi level will bring down, this will pull whole band down. So if you pull this band down, so all the electron available here can easily cross this junction. Okay, so that means it's in forward bias it will conduct, and in the reverse bias what will happen? So if you move this up, then this 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 barrier will remain same. Okay, so now even from here to their side, sufficient number of electrons will reach out to right side, because the Fermi level here will be up, so there is a huge number of electrons, and those can jump to this side and flow the current. So this ohmic characteristics of this kind of contact will be like this. So it will no, no, it will be behave like ohmic contact. This is behaving ohmic contact because it is not forming barrier like this. Yeah, so this is the barrier. So as you can see, like the electron here will always have higher energy compared to the Fermi level. Whatever you do, the electron here will have higher energy compared to the Fermi level, so they can always cross this barrier. Okay, so is there any doubt? So even if some so if we maintain this equilibrium, then this kind of ohmic characteristics is will. Is there any doubt up to now? Okay, so if there is no doubt, let's just move to next problem. The IV characteristics for three different devices, first, second, and third, are shown in figure 3. The we need to show like which kind of contact it is. So as we have seen this barrier, uh, so uh, so VBI is basically so in our case. Uh, VBI is basically your so yeah, just wait. Yeah. So in case of a Schottky junction, this kind of barrier is formed, and we can write this as E. So just wait. So this kind of barrier will form, and we can write this as EF, and this is EC minus EF, and this is VBI. Okay. So the this is phi b, so VBI is basically equals to phi b minus EC minus EF. Okay, so normally this has So ideal thing, so ideal PN junction, this 5B, so normal, so in case of Schottky junction, this built-in potential will reduce by this amount compared to the normal PN junction. So yeah, so the first characteristic, as we have discussed here, the ohmic contact will have characteristic like this, that has a band diagram like this. So the first characteristic is of ohmic. So this one is basically our ohmic. So because this is linear in current and voltage, and second, in the our Schottky case, the J is basically equals to Js t square times exponential of Va by Kt minus 1. So this follows a similar characteristics, but this has smaller built-in voltage. So if this has smaller built-in potential, then it has smaller cutoff also. Similarly, this third case will be normal PN junction. Okay. So the correct answer will be first is ohmic, second is Schottky, third is PN. Is there any doubt up to now? Okay. So let's just move to next problem. Yeah. So let's just move to next problem. The PMOS device holds a inversion charges. Uh, PMOS device has have holes as a inversion charges. PMOS device has electron as a inversion charges. So let's say what is a PMOS? So so what happens is uh, so PMOS is basically so PMOS is so PMOS is where the majority charge carriers are so just read. Majority charge carriers are holes. Okay. So so what what so the majority charge carriers uh, so no, no, not this, so it is not related to the, yeah. So PMOS is basically formed when so let's just this has some confusion, so let's just solve. Yeah. So what happens is, so as you apply the gate bias, so so if you have this metal oxide semiconductor junction, then this is your semiconductor, which is p type. Okay. So what will happen, so normally if you draw the band diagram without any contacts or joining, then you will reach that band diagram looks like this. So this is EF, EC, and this is EF. We are assuming metal work function is equal to the semiconductor work function. So at zero bias there will be no band bending. So if this has p type, so the Fermi level will, this is EV, Fermi level will be closer to the valence band, then this is EF, and we have this here will be the vacuum level, we have the metal work function, then this is semiconductor work. Now the this will be look like this. So it will look like this. Yeah. So now if we apply the positive bias, then this band will bend down. Similarly, if this band went down, so this will also bend down, and the band diagram will look like this. So it will form like this. So the whole band diagram will bend. So again equilibrium is maintained, but this just wait. So this, so now as the surface, at the surface, this is EF, this is EC. So at the surface, as you can see, this EC minus EF gap has reduced. So that means the substrate sub that means the substrate at the interface have has become more N type. So now the since this has become the N type, so this the all the so so the inversion layer is formed when this N type. So as it's becoming more N type, so this, if you apply more positive bias, they will again will start coming down further. So it will be become like this. Then it will become the so it will become the uh, N-type conductor when when this the concentration of electrons here. So concentration of electron will becomes the majority charge concentration. Basically, that is the whole. So when the n equals to p, then your inversion layer forms, and this is NMOS. So in the NMOS, the substrate is p type, and inversion layer is electrons. So the inversion layers are electrons. Similarly, if you take the substrate as N type, then your inversion carriers are holes. So yeah, so that is PMOS. So uh, so so NMOS has P type substrate, and carriers are electrons. Similarly, PMOS has N type substrate, and carriers are holes. So the in case of NMOS device, the electrons are inverted charges, or electrons are the main carriers. In case of PMOS device, holes are the inverted charges, or holes are the main. So based on this, the correct answer will be first and last. So the other options are just reverse, so you can neglect just by basically. Okay, so is there any doubt up to now? Okay, so uh, let's just move to next problem. So identify the type of substrate and thereby MOSFET for each of the band diagram. Okay, so basically to find the substrate, basically we need to see the band diagram deep, not at the surface. We should not see here. We should to identify the substrate, what is the band diagram looks like at the here. So if you see band diagram here, this is EF, which is more closer to the conduction band. So the substrate is P type. Okay, so this is p type. Okay, so and the yeah, so now now the so at so now this VGS is here and the Fermi level is here. So that means this is negative bias applies on this device. That's why this accumulation of charge carrier is there. So this Venn diagram is moving up means the this surface is becoming more p type. So this interface, if you talk about this interface, so this interface here is becoming more p type. So how we can solve this EF minus EV gap? As you can see at the interface it's more, as you are going deep into the, this is becoming the gap at the interface is less. As you move in the deep in the conduction band, here the gap will become more and more, and it will become constant. So that means by applying the negative voltage, there is accumulation of holes. So that means at applying the positive voltage there will be the electrons in the inversion layer. So the first option is the substrate is p type and the capacitor is NMOS. Okay, yeah, so NMOS has p type substrate. Yeah, similarly, the Fermi level is closer to the conduction band, so this is N type. So the second is N type, and at at positive bias, positive bias, it is becoming more the conduction band is coming more closer to the Fermi level. So that means it has become more N type. So that means here will there will be there is the these carriers are there at the interface, electrons are there at the interface. So that means this has become at applying the positive side, the majority charge carriers are becoming more and more. So that means this inversion layer carriers are holes. So that's why this is PMOS. So basically you need to apply negative charge voltage, negative gate voltage to apply in this case negative gate voltage to invert the channel region. So if you need to apply the negative voltage, then it is PMOS. So yeah, so now this has yeah, so now in the third case, at away from the junction, the Fermi level is more closer to the valence band. So this is P type. So third case is P type, and if you apply the more positive voltage, then this band will bend down and it will become more like N type. So this will behave like NMOS. So the inversion layer will be formed as a electron. So the third is NMOS. So this is PMOS, this is NMOS. So the correct answer will be this one. So first is P type, second is N type, third is P type. First is NMOS, second is PMOS, third is NMOS. Yeah. So is there any doubt up to now?
No, sir.
Okay, fine. Okay, yeah. Yeah. So identify the sign of applied gate voltage VG and the bias condition for each of the band diagram. So so yeah, so identified, yeah. So now in this case, we need to find what is the sign of the applied gauge bias. So this, as you can see, this this Fermi level is more compared to the Fermi level. So this side, the band is moving up. So that will happen when you apply the negative gate bias. VG, you apply negative gate bias, and as you apply the negative gate bias, the interface is becoming more p-type, because this the valence band is moving closer to the Fermi level, so the interface is becoming more p-type. So we can see this is the accumulation. So the bias is negative, and this is case of accumulation of majority charge carrier. So there's this holes will accumulate there, the interface will become more p-types. Yeah. And in the second case, if we apply, so as you can see, the this is the Fermi level, and the Vg, this is the Fermi level in the metal. As you can see, the Fermi level in the metal is less than the Fermi level in the conduction, and that is possible only if you apply the positive bias. So positive bias uh, will pull the band down. So basically this is applied positive bias, and your interface is becoming more n type. So so this, and your bulk concentration was n type. So basically this is also the case of accumulation. Okay, since your majority charge carriers are, your interface is becoming more and more n type, which is the bulk concentration of majority charge carrier. So this is also the case of accumulation. Similarly, in the third case, this, as you can see, the Vg Fermi level is similar to same level at the Fermi level. So Vg is equals to 0, and the substrate is p type, and the at the interface it is becoming n type. So this band is bent down, it is becoming the conduction band is coming closer to the Fermi level. So that means the interface is becoming more n type. So that means this is depletion of majority carrier. Okay, so this here, there will be more n type electrons will be there, the holes will move away from this. So as you can see, from here also you can see at the interface, this EC minus EF minus EV gas is widening. So that means there are holes are removed from here. Actually holes are removed from the interface, or electrons are put at the interface. So based on this choice, this is negative. So the correct answer is negative accumulation, positive accumulation, and positive inversion. So basically, you are just inverting. Uh, yeah. So uh, yeah. So for this case, actually, here as you can see, so this as this is this if we consider this, so this is basically phi f. So phi f is basically equals to ei minus ef. As you can see this in so ei has at the interface, the phi f has, so your e, ef has become like more compared to your ef. So your this has become like the interface has become n type, and this ei minus phi f, ei minus phi f at the interface is approximately equals to phi f. So that means the total change, total this this built-in potential is equals to 2 phi f, greater than equals to 2 phi f, that is the case of inversion actually. When this built-in potential, basically now your electron concentration here will become more than the majority concentration at the in the substrate region. So then you can say that inversion has happened. So that is by just by visually if you can we can see that this EI is less than EF, so that means that uh, inversion is started happening. So third case is positive. Third case is approximately positive plus inversion. Yeah, so zero wise case is not there. So we can assume that this is positive and inversion is there. Okay, so on the similar line, let's move to next problem. So yeah, so next problem talks about a simplified band diagram for MOSFETs are shown in figure 5 below. Match the energy band diagram level from 1 to 3 with the corresponding substrate type, apply gate voltage and bias condition. So yeah, so now so we need to find what is the substrate type. So yeah, so this is so first is the uh, conduction band is more closer to the Fermi level, so this is P type. And as the bias is applied, so if you can apply, so then there is this bending is there, so that means the uh, electron is so the substrate carriers are there, substrate is p type, and this electron will behave as an inversion layer. So this is the case of NMOS. Similarly, in this case of in second case, the Fermi level is more closer to the conduction band, so this is N type. And as we apply the bias, as we apply the and there is a depletion of, so there is a depletion of at this applied bias, there is a depletion there is formation of holes. So the surface is becoming more p type, so it is getting inverted. So with applied bias it is getting inverted, so that means it is becoming more n type compared to the p type, becoming more p type compared to the n type in the substrate. So this is the example. So here the inversion layer will be of the holes. So that means this is the substrate type is n type, and the uh, uh, and this will be PMOS. Now if you see other example, so this is N type, and so N type, and this the interface is becoming more and more P type. So that means there is also inversion of holes is taking place, but is smaller compared to the second case. So the third option also will be, this is substrate will be N type, and the this is PMOS. So the correct answer will be N type and PMOS. So now we need to apply the positive. So so P type substrate is there. If you apply the positive bias, then positive bias depletion will happen. So negative bias. So 1 and 3 are different. So you see this EI is, in the first case EI has not crossed this EF. In the second case EI has crossed this EF. by around approximately 2 of 2 5f amount, by twice of this amount, twice of this is 5f. So this we can say in the inversion region, this is in the depletion region, similarly this is in the depletion region. So we can write uh, so uh, so then negative bias is applied, so negative bias is applied and this is in inversion region. Similarly in third case, negative bias is applied and this is in depletion region. Yeah, the main criteria to know whether the depletion, that will be discussed in the next week, more detail in the main lecture class. So basically, if this is EF and this is EI in the bulk, if at the interface this has crossed twice this amount, this is known as the phi f, surface potential. So if has crossed, so the EI has reduced this much amount, that this this gap is equals to twice the phi f, then this is known as the inversion. So if this is the twice phi f, then we can say the inversion is happening. If it is less than twice phi f, then if phi f is, so this EF, uh, so uh, so basically EI at the interface minus EI at the bulk. So EI at here, EI at interface, if it is greater than 2 phi f, then we can say strong inversion is there. Strong inversion is there. And if is less than 2 phi f and greater than phi f, so this is like this, so it is between this kind of thing, then we can say weak inversion is there. So this, let's get called as delta IEI. So if delta EI is between, then we can say this is weak inversion. Inversion just start to happen. And if other case, uh, this delta EI is uh, less than phi f, greater than 0, then we can say depletion is happening. And if delta EI is less than 0 and then we can say accumulation is happening. So these are the different conditions. So based on this, like which region you are, you can decide whether where the MOSCAP in the MOSCAP is in the depletion region or strong depletion, depletion, accumulation, inversion or strong inversion, weak inversion or strong inversion region is there. You can define with this. So is there any doubt up to now? Uh, yeah. So this was the last problem for today. If there any doubt, then we can discuss. Uh, yeah. We have some more time. If we can, if you have any doubt, then I can answer that doubt. Otherwise, we can end this session. So thank you so much for listening, and once again, happy Teachers Day for all of you. Yeah. So we will have. I hope you will learn good thing in your life. Yeah. So, is there any doubt? Okay, thank you so much. Bye. Have a nice time. Thank you so much for listening this session. We will meet next week, same time, same slot. Yeah. Thank you so much. Bye. Have a nice time.